Yeah, like Junior said, this is an absolutely stunning piece. When I first saw it at Justin Smith's house in the driveway, I'd never seen one in person before. They only made these 2 years in 2003 and 2004, and the production numbers weren't that big. But my first impression is it looked like it was cut from a piece of solid billet aluminum. Like Junior said, the paint on the wheels, the camera's not going to pick it up without the sunlight, is the same metallic paint that's a very similar shade and style paint that's on the fenders, the tank. The frame has a metallic finish on it, and the metallic, all of the levers, all the aluminum, the chrome, it just, the whole thing just glows like this rich, classy, cast from billet aluminum look to it. It's an absolute hoot to ride. That was probably the most fun test ride I had all day long. Justin Smith is a collector of fine motorcycles. All his stuff is in mint shape. This is no different than any of the bikes he had there. It's in pristine condition, top to bottom, forward to back. It has some really nice upgrades like this super comfy Corbin saddle, the solo pillion, the engine protector sliders on the side here. Absolutely beautiful piece. The original stock exhaust on it. It handles great. 6-speed transmission. It's a rocket ship. Again, they only made it 2 years. It's a 996cc, 90-degree V-twin, 8-valve double overhead cam, 11.6 to 1 compression ratio, putting down 120 horsepower at the crank. That's 108 at the rear wheel with 70 foot-pounds of torque. That's a lot of torque. 6-speed tranny. Look at the front forks, the big fat 46mm telescopic forks. 5 inches of travel in the front, 5 in the rear. The rear is a monoshock style, fully adjustable. The brakes are massive, dual 310mm 12-inch discs with dual 4-piston Tokiko calipers. It'll stop on a dime. Rear single 220mm 8.7-inch disc. Big 120/70/17 on the front and a big 180/55 ZR17 Z-rated. Thing's an absolute monster. Fun to ride. Light, only 410 pounds. Just an absolutely phenomenally nice piece. 4.5 gallon gas tank. The SV1000 is considered to be a naked motorcycle, and they only made it, like I said, 2 years. And it's a 90-degree V-twin, aimed to compete directly with the Honda VTR 1000. Also known as a Super Hawk or Firestorm, and also the Ducati, of course, V-twins. The SV1000 is a larger version of the popular 650. It's very similar to the SV650. Shares many common parts, including all the bodywork, the front fairing, fuel tank, and rear plastics and subframe are all the same. But the main frame, the handlebars, the swing arm, and the forks are different. And of course, the engine's much bigger. The front forks and brakes are sourced from the earlier GSXR 600 components. So those are no slouches. They're designed for high-speed racing. The SV1000's engine is sourced from the TL1000S Superbike, but it has over 300 changes to improve low and mid-range performance. And talk about low and mid-range performance coming out of the hole over there in first gear. I've only been riding this bike for maybe a half an hour around the compound here, and just cracking the throttle in first gear, it stood straight up.
V-twin torque.
Yeah, it's an absolute wheelie machine right off of idle. Just a joy to ride. Unlike the Firestorm or Super Hawk, which had large 48mm carbs, this one was ahead of the game with fuel injection. It had Suzuki's dual throttle valve technology. So just a kick-ass piece. The original SV1000 design had gone through 2 updates since its original release, and the K4 model included a lowering of the rear end as per the 2003 unfaired version. This is a little bit lower rear end, and the forks were a little bit different. So they only made them for 2 years here, and they're hard to come by, and most of them were ridden into the ground. To find one 20 years old like this that's in pristine shape. This was owned by a private motorcycle collector who, well, Justin's well-to-do, has a beautiful home and a great career, and a collection of 40-plus pristine motorcycles. He kept all of them. He was obsessed, kept them all pristine. Of course, we have the proper title and paperwork that go with it. We put it through our service shop in the detail shop. It was hot water steam cleaned, degreased around the chain area, touched up the kickstand, polished the exhaust, and polished the frame, polished and waxed the frame, the paint, cleaned the chain and sprockets, cleaned the tires. So it was just a little, if anything, it had a little bit of dust on it from Justin's, but we put a nice coat of wax, basically waxed and polished the whole thing. 3.5 hours in the detail shop, and then 3.5 hours in the service department to change the oil, the new Bellray 1040 oil, drain the fuel, put VP non-ethanol fuel in it, new oil filter, of course, change the oil and filter, bled the rear brakes, removed the caliper, bled the caliper, checked the whole bike over, the lights, the horn, the turn signals, full nut and bolt safety check, drained the fuel, put the VP in it, and that was 3.5 hours in the service department. So it's been gone through, safety check, tuned, new oil, ready to go. Just needs nothing but a new home. If you have any questions about this kick-ass classic, give us a call. This SV1000 is an absolute joy to ride. And as the 650 was used as a track bike, I'm sure this would be a hoot on the track also. Just even more fun with more power. Our work order with 6 hours labor plus parts came to $694 on top of what we paid Justin for it. It'll be a reasonable reserve if you're looking for a nice one. I haven't seen any cleaner ones, and this is his dime. So good luck bidding on it. Thanks for watching, and God bless America.